The hospital ship Helka carried a controversial human cargo. Not the 18 British wounded on board the British ship, but 24 wounded Argentinians. It is alleged that some of them are survivors of the fishing boat Narwhal, a boat the British claim was a spy ship. These soldiers are on their way home. 2 months have passed since these soldiers took Port Stanley. Neither they nor their enemy thought they'd be here that long. These are the latest government pictures of the battle for Port Stanley, where the Argentinians are pinned down with their backs to the sea. The British, tempered with more respect now for their foe than they had 2 months ago, must be wondering, will they surrender easily because of weakened morale, or lash out with the ferociousness of a cornered lion? The British aircraft are up against blowpipe missiles and surface-to-air missiles. They've already tasted the fire from more conventional anti-aircraft guns. The British have their Sea Kings, the Argentinians American-made Bell helicopters. Ground artillery, similar to their own, awaits them. Security has surrounded the nature of this artillery, but Argentinians are known to have high numbers of 105mm cannons. Clearly, the Argentine army is outgunned both from land and from sea. Britain has underestimated its firepower before. It can't afford to launch a final assault until it is sure it is ready. David Burt, CBC News, Buenos Aires.
The weather in Buenos Aires and the news from the battlefront were equally gloomy today. The headline said, Army poised to defend Puerto Argentino, Stanley. But the Argentines, sophisticated, able to read between the lines, know their forces are in trouble, that this may be it. Last night, Argentine television showed some new pictures of the fighting around Stanley. Further evidence that a final, bloody battle may be near. An excited reporter described attempts to shoot down British Harrier jets.
Los Harriers están atravesando el cielo por sobre Puerto Argentino y a su encuentro van los proyectiles de nuestra artillería antiaérea. Vemos que las estelas se adelantan a los proyectiles y mientras se afina la puntería casi podemos ver que le están por pegar. Su altura parecería que es lo suficiente como para hacerlo.
There seems to be a shift in the way the war is being reported to the Argentine public. Hints that this country may have to accept the possibility of defeat. Still, the officials talk in uncompromising terms. As he was leaving for a meeting of non-aligned nations in Cuba, Foreign Minister Nicanor Costa Méndez said Argentina will never give up its claim of sovereignty over the islands.
Transferred immediately to another ship bound for Buenos Aires. They had been aboard the fishing boat Narwhal May 9th when it was attacked by the British, who said it was a surveillance vessel. Argentina claimed at the time the crew had been strafed in life rafts, a claim obviously refuted by their presence today. Argentina tonight is a country waiting. Few, if any, here expect success from last-minute diplomatic efforts. No one here expects Argentina to give up without a fight. In short, there appears no real hope for avoiding more bloodshed in the islands. Barry Serafin, ABC News, Buenos Aires.
Buenos Aires thundered with the cheers of thousands of demonstrators after the successful invasion of the Falklands on April 2nd. For the first time since the British used military force to take the islands from Argentina in 1833, they were once again known as the Malvinas. But the jubilation faded as Argentina faced an angry British response. A powerful task force was sent, and London threatened all-out war unless the troops were removed from the islands. During the last 2 months, Argentina has remained firm in its demands for sovereignty over the islands. The British have responded with air raids like this one, purported to have taken place since British troops landed on East Falkland Island. The bombs are reportedly from Sea Harriers, now based at Port San Carlos on the other side of the island. Exactly 2 months after they reclaim the islands, Argentina's forces find themselves surrounded by British troops in the capital city. The British can reportedly see the brightly colored houses and roofs from their positions 2 miles away. This videotape, released by the government, allegedly shows Argentine anti-aircraft fire aimed at raiding Sea Harriers. Most of the residents in Puerto Argentino or Port Stanley have left. The streets are empty. Only an estimated 250 of this town's original 1,000 residents have decided to stay. Troops here have been told they may fight to the death against the British in the fiercest bloodbath of this undeclared war. But there have been signs that Argentina may try to return to the negotiating table, and these troops must wait for those orders. Each day draws them closer to a major battle that will decide who controls these islands, and it appears the British are in a better position. That feeling is reflected here in the capital city as well, where news reports suggest the seriousness of the situation, and quote military sources saying, no matter what happens, Argentina is already winning, and that this war could go on for years. But there is a mood of pessimism here, and other than the generals, few enjoy talking about a war that could last indefinitely. People here wonder what will happen next for Argentina. Even though they fully support this country's claim to the islands, they wonder if it might not be better to save lives by surrendering now. But so far, there is no clear signal that Argentina will surrender without a fight. And the question which remains is whether or not the military regime here in Buenos Aires can purchase the peace with honor it's been talking about over the last 2 months without spilling more blood at Puerto Argentino. Jim Clancy, CNN, Buenos Aires.